A single drop of blood can carry a story. It can mark a struggle, trace a movement, and capture a final moment in time. For decades, investigators have believed those patterns could be decoded, translated into a truth through a method called bloodstain pattern analysis. But sometimes, the story it tells isn't always true. The origins of bloodstain pattern analysis date back to 19th century Europe, where scientists first began studying how blood behaves when it leaves the human body. But it wasn't until 1956 that the method entered American courtrooms. During the trial of State of Ohio versus Samuel Shepard, forensic scientist Paul Kirk used blood evidence to reconstruct a violent crime scene. His testimony helped shape the future of forensic science in the United States. So by the 1960s and 70s, bloodstain pattern analysis, often called BPA, had become a cornerstone of criminal investigations. It was used to determine angles of impact, the type of weapon used, and even the sequence of events during a crime. BPA is based on the idea that blood behaves in predictable ways. The size, shape, and distribution of stains can suggest how fast blood was moving, what direction it traveled, and what kind of force created it. So a fine mist may indicate a gunshot, large drops might suggest blunt force trauma, and large trails can reveal movement. Investigators document these patterns carefully, photographing, measuring, and preserving them before the scene is disturbed. But while collecting the data is relatively simple, interpreting it is anything but. On December 8, 2001, in Durham, North Carolina, Michael Peterson made a frantic 911 call that night.
Durham 911, where's your emergency?
Peter Street, please.
What's wrong?
My wife had an accident. She's still breathing.
What kind of
She's
accident?
still on the stairs. She's still breathing. Please come.
Is she conscious?
What?
Is she conscious?
No, she's not conscious.
Okay, how many stairs did you
What?
fall down?
Huh?
How many stairs?
Stairs.
How many stairs? Calm down, sir. Calm down.
No, 15, 20, I don't know. Please, get somebody here right away, please.
Okay, somebody's dispatching the ambulance while I ask you questions.
It's a Forest Hill, okay? Please, please.
His wife, Kathleen Peterson, was lying at the bottom of the staircase surrounded by blood. Peterson claimed it was a tragic accident, that she had fallen and he had found her like that. But investigators saw something else. The amount of blood, the patterns on the wall, the distribution across the staircase. To them, it didn't look like a fall, it looked like murder. During the 2003 trial, bloodstain pattern analysis became the centerpiece of the prosecution's case. Their expert, Duan Deaver, testified with confidence. He argued that the blood patterns showed repeated blows, evidence of a violent attack. But the defense countered with Henry Lee, one of the most well-known forensic experts in the world, also famous for testifying in the O.J. Simpson trial. Lee saw the same evidence, but reached a completely different conclusion. He argued that there was too much blood spatter for a typical beating, suggesting the prosecution's theory didn't hold. Two experts, the same scene, opposite interpretations. In the end, the jury believed the prosecution, and Michael Peterson was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. Years later, the foundation of that conviction began to crumble. It was revealed that Duan Deaver had misinterpreted his qualifications during the trial. His experience was far more limited than he had claimed. His testimony, once presented as an expert analysis, was now considered completely unreliable.
Okay, let me ask you this. If somebody was hitting a source of blood right there and they brought it back, where would the cast off go?
Again, there's many variables on that also. If the weapon were swung
In 2011, Peterson was granted a new trial, and after 8 years in prison, he was released after taking an Alford plea, basically saying that there was enough evidence to convict him, but he maintained his innocence. 8 years, lost to flawed forensic interpretation. The Peterson case wasn't just a legal failure, it was a scientific warning. In 2009, the National Academies published a groundbreaking report on forensic science. Its conclusion was clear. Bloodstain pattern analysis, along with other scientists, is often subjective. its uncertainties are nothing but significant. Later studies reinforced this concern. During recent years, in 2024 and 2025, researchers found that analysts frequently disagreed when examining the same evidence, and sometimes even made critical errors. The reason? BPA isn't an exact science. Blood behavior is influenced by countless variables: the force, the angle, surface, and environment. Without a strong scientific foundation, conclusions can vary widely. And in a courtroom, variability can mean the difference between freedom and conviction. But despite its flaws, BPA remains widely used. It helps investigators reconstruct evidence, narrow possibilities, and generate leads. It can suggest whether a weapon was used, how a victim moved, and what sequence of events may have followed. It's also accessible. Officers can learn documentation techniques quickly, capturing photographs and measurements that preserve the scene. In investigations, it saves time. It provides direction. But direction isn't the same as proof. Accessibility isn't the same as reliability. To address these issues, experts propose reform. One solution is national certification, ensuring that all analysts meet consistent standards of training and expertise. Another is increased funding for research. Forensic science has long suffered from limited resources, leaving methods like BPA underdeveloped and undertested. Without stronger scientific backing, BPA doesn't hold up in court. But with these reforms, BPA could evolve into a more reliable tool, one grounded in measurable data rather than interpretation alone. Some regions have already taken action. In 2018, Texas began requiring accreditation for bloodstain analysts testifying in court, an effort to prevent unqualified testimony from influencing verdicts. It's a step towards accountability, but nationwide reform remains incomplete. Blood may tell a story, but these stories can be misinterpreted. For Michael Peterson, that misinterpretation meant 8 years behind bars and a lifetime under suspicion. The challenge now is not just to read the evidence, but to understand its limits. Because justice depends not on what we can see, but on what we can prove.